Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? And welcome back to Coach Miller's channel here on YouTube, where we are getting year number 2 underway of our White Sox franchise, where we made a lot of changes, a lot of signings, and there on the top of our budget is Mr. Juan Soto, who we locked up for 5 years, who will be one of our outfield pieces for us. As you can see, his money goes down over time, but we had one outfield spot open and he was available on the market and we had the money to spend. We also signed Max Fried here to a 1-year deal just so Skeens does not have to be our ace this year. I feel like that's safe to let these guys still grow and develop because they are young. We also signed Gleyber Torres at second base to a 3-year deal so we can continue to let Termarr Johnson develop because he is not quite ready for the major leagues yet. We also signed Dylan Cruz to a long-term contract, one very similar to Jackson Chourio, except look at this. We're going to be paying him literally nothing when he turns into a star player for us. So what a great contract that we got Cruz for. This is Chourio's contract. It's pretty much $10 million for years to go and come. We also signed Caleb Ferguson to a 2-year deal, just because we didn't really have anybody in our bullpen at all. And we signed Pete Alonso to a 2-year contract because I believe Xavier Isaac is our upcoming first baseman, but he is also not ready. And so, man, we can have a very competitive rebuild now that we've placed, upcoming players in a lot of positions. Tanner Scott will be our closer this year, but man, that's what you get when you can have a really, really good draft, and then your first year you trade for a lot of prospects around the infield like we did, and you put together that plan for them to come up. Also, we signed Whit Merrifield, who can literally play anywhere, because when you do that, you can sign players where you have holes because you have so much budget. Like, man, we traded everybody away. We have so much budget. We got to start from scratch and implement our plan to build around our prospects. Once you get those prospects in, then you can go in there and look where you can fill in some holes and or look where people are and what people still need to grow and sign players at those positions to short-term deals. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to start Dylan Cruz in AAA this year. So Junior Caminero already has a hitting stat over 70, or he will very soon. And then Jackson Chourio just has great speed and is already a good center fielder, whereas Dylan Cruz is still pretty average overall. He is a 71 overall, but I would like to see one of his there you go. Junior Caminero has 72 contact left. I want to see one of Cruz's hitting stats get over 70. And once that happens, then I'll have some confidence bringing him up into the major leagues. And so as you can see right here, we have Juan Soto DHing, and we do change that eventually because we realized that our lineup was much better. I think Whit Merrifield ends up being our DH here. And so, with as this series continues to move on, my apologies last video for having no commentary. I'm trying to do different stuff. Like this video right here, I'm recording a commentary after, so I'm looking at what I already recorded and then commentating over it. And then the last video, I didn't do any commentary on it. So I'm trying different things. I would like to stick to that live commentary that I've been doing on all of the videos. I think that is what works best. Dominic Fletcher is going to be our right fielder because he won the Gold Glove last year in right field. And so I figured it's pretty realistic if we keep him in right field since he literally won the Gold Glove for right field last year. But yeah, I'm definitely liking the live commentaries much better than right now, post-recording or even doing no commentary. I think that live commentary, even though based on how my schedule is, I have to wake up pretty early in order to make that happen. I still like doing those live commentaries much better, than doing a post recording or not doing anything at all. So we've noted the additions that we've made for year 2. Whit Merrifield, Pete Alonso. We have Max Fried now, so that Skeens does not have to be our ace. I feel like that was pretty safe for him. Yes, he's going to be a great player for us, but I have value in him still being able to grow and not be our ace yet. Whit Merrifield, Gio Urshela, Pete Alonso, Juan Soto. We've made a lot of additions, as you can see here. And so we're going to send to the regular season, and now we will get into some contract extensions and whatnot. Here, I'm trying to sign Paul Skeens to one of those deals that we signed Cruz to, and that we got Jackson Chourio on. This way, it will lock him up for a long period of time until he's like 32 years old, 31, 30 or whatever. And we don't have to worry about paying him. We don't have to worry about contract negotiations. And by doing this, by locking up a player of his caliber, in real life, I would say this is much more risky because of risk of injury. If Skeens didn't pan out, but we know in the show he is going to pan out and be a pretty good player. And so by signing someone to a contract like this, you're going to save money in the long run, and we are going to be able to retain Skeens for longer at a better AAV. And towards the end of his contract, we're going to be able to sign even more players because of how we're going to front load his contract. So I keep going up here in salary. As you can see, it's only $12 million a year right now for 10 years, which is nothing considering how good he's going to be. And so I think we keep going up here, and then I think I actually lower the terms to 8 years, because I think when we lower the terms, we get more interest. And so yeah, lower the terms to 8 years. So this would be, let's see what we go with here. So we go down a little bit more here on Skeens. So it's going to be a front-loaded deal, and we land on $13 million a year, and he accepts the offer. So it's going to be $13 million a year, but we front-loaded it, and so that contract is going to look a bit different, and it's going to allow us to pay a lot of money up front, so that towards the end of his contract, we have more flexibility with our budget. And that's what I try and do with almost every player at the beginning of a rebuild. Because the objective, like we said, by 2028 or 2029, most of our younger players are going to be better overall. And so by that time, if we sign into these contracts, and even our good players that are going to be here for a while, like Pete Alonso or Juan Soto, you front load their contracts. By the time your young studs come up, you aren't paying them much money at all. And so here I think we're going to sign Tanner Scott to a 1-year deal extension because he's only 30 years old. And I'm fine giving him a little bit more money because he will be our closer for the next few years. And I think that's all we do there with contract extensions. Now we'll go to the regular season and we'll edit our lineups. And so what we'll do here, I will cut the video. And then when we get back here, we will go right ahead into opening day of year number 2. Welcome to year number 2 of the White Sox franchise. We're going to get things underway this year at Angel Stadium as the White Sox take on the Los Angeles Angels. A lot more excitement surrounding this team this year. GM Miller has been spending money. He put a plan in place in year number 1, and we are starting to see that plan come to fruition. As you can see here, the additions of Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, and Whit Merrifield show us that this team means business this year. They're trying to make this a competitive rebuild. They have a great farm system with players coming up, but they also think they can win now in this strategy. And so we'll see what this 2025 season brings for your Chicago White Sox as we'll get opening day underway shortly. So Patrick Sandoval is on the mound today for the Los Angeles Angels. Not a great year last year, but a pretty decent one, as Gio Urshela will lead us off this year in White Sox year number 2 here in a 1-1 count. Got to keep those quick counts on to make sure these games go by decently quicker, but also we keep that pitch count realistic as he takes that pitch there. 97 contact left for Urshela. Nice take there again. And man, our hitting took a massive increase this year compared to last year, which is something you'd love to see. That one's roped to the second baseman, who threw that over to first, and Urshela is retired here to kick things off in year number 2. Here is our lineup: Urshela, Soto, Alonso, Torres, Caminero, Chirrillo, Fletcher. A lot of new faces in this lineup, a complete rebrand, if you will, from last year, something you love to see if you are a White Sox fan, because we were absolutely abysmal last year. As Merrifield gives that one a pretty good ride to left field, but that 44 power will catch up to him, and that one will stay in the ballpark, as that's going to be 2 gone now. And here comes Juan Soto. So Soto does not re-sign with the Yankees. He hits free agency, and the White Sox pick him up. He is going to be our best player this year, and hopefully will carry us into the playoffs. That'd be something crazy if we could literally make the playoffs in year number 2 of the White Sox rebuild. That would be incredible, and we would be way ahead of schedule with... Oh, wow. Strike there on Soto. Unfortunately, a bit outside there, but it is what it is. So, man, we would be way ahead of schedule if we could do that. And it's something that I'm looking forward to, you know, because like I said, we have a lot of talent coming up in our farm system. And we had some budget to spend in the fields and places to fill, as Max Fried gets in here. 20-4 last year with a 3.07 ERA. So a pretty good year last year for him. And he will be our ace this year. Just once again to give Paul Skeens some breathing room, as I still think he's a bit too young to be an ace. And so, you know, if we can protect him for years to come, I think that's something that we certainly should do. So Max Fried gets the ball today on the mound, and he strikes out the first batter he sees as a member of the Chicago White Sox. That's something you love to see, as he's up again here on Edmund Sosa. 1-2 now. Max Fried, can he get 2 in a row? That he barely got contact there, Mr. Edmundo Sosa. Fried again now. That one's line. Can Chirrillo get there? He cannot. And Sosa's going to get a double here. So a strikeout and a double so far today in Fried's debut as a White Sox. And here comes Mike Trout, who rips that one to right field, and that ball is gone. So Mike Trout doing Mike Trout things, and it's already 2-0 to the Angels. Not something you want to see necessarily as we get this year underway, but in the same way, man, you can't really complain, because Mike Trout is literally going to do Mike Trout things. And right there, he takes Fried deep to right field, little oppo home run right there. Now, can Fried limit the damage here and get out of this inning just with it being 2-0 to the Angels? We'll see what kind of stuff he has as Brandon Drury steps in here. The pitch, line, but Urshela is right there. Throw to first in time. 2 gone now. We will get through this first inning as you see the Angels lineup, and then I'm going to be cutting this game up to only the highlights so that we can see the highlights of this game and not a full hour-length video. That's lined up the middle for a base hit. I think that's what I'm going to start to do later on in this series when we play full games, is show the first inning, and then, any major moment throughout the game will show that. As that one's popped up to Fletcher, the Gold Glove winner in right field. And I will see you guys when we get a highlight play. We're going to chop this game up as we see Mike Trout's homer once again. So we skip ahead now to the fourth inning where Gleyber Torres is up with Merrifield on first base, who singled. Full count now to Torres. And he's just staying alive there with that great slider inside by Patrick Sandoval, who has handled this White Sox lineup to this point. As Torres continues just to battle here. No runs for this, what's supposed to be a pretty productive offense this year here on the south side of Chicago. Some decent speed on first base there with Whit Merrifield, who's also a great contact hitter for us, who got on base. Full count, and Torres rips that one to left center field. It's going to get down. Merrifield was running on the play, so he will get home easily. Torres stops at first, and that's the first RBI of the new season, year number 2 here for your White Sox. One of our new additions, well, actually 2 new additions. Gleyber Torres gets the RBI after Whit Merrifield singles, and it's now a 2-1 game for your White Sox, who are trying to get back here as Caminero grounds out, and that will be it for the fourth inning. Torres doing work here, though, getting the White Sox back within 1.
Leading off for the White Sox.
Going to resume action now with a full count to Gio Urshela in the top of the 6th here. So he makes contact, and that will be a base hit, just getting past the second baseman right now. With that 97 contact left, Urshela is a great leadoff man for us, as we're hoping that he will be getting on base a lot, as the Angels are going to pull Sandoval here and bring in Andrew Wantz to try and deal with this lineup. So a righty steps in now. Whit Merrifield comes to the plate in a 2-1 count with Urshela on first base. He'll take that, and just like that, it's a 3-1 count with the heart of the order coming up. The pitch to Merrifield is a ball, which that caught a lot of the strike zone. So 2 on and nobody out for Juan Soto, who gets to face a righty who he is much better against. An interesting decision there to bring in a righty from the bullpen. 2-1 count to Soto as well, who takes that slurred in for a strike, making it a 2-2 count. So a clutch situation here for Juan Soto at the plate, and it's a full count now. So Soto forces a full count with Pete Alonso on deck. What can Juan Soto do here? The pitch from Wantz, that's ripped high to center field. It's going back there, but Trout is there. We're going to send Urshela to the third. Can he beat the strong arm of Trout? He can. So first and third now with 1 out. And that brings Pete Alonso to the plate, who also has 2 strikeouts this game. 1-1 count. Alonso, there's that perfect, and it gets past the second baseman. We'll score a run, and we'll advance a runner to third, going station to station here. Alonso gets his first RBI in a White Sox uniform, and the White Sox tie this game as now Gleyber Torres steps into the box. Man, the middle of this order is absolutely stacked. Torres now rips that to left field. It's caught. We'll send Merrifield home, and he is safe. And the White Sox take the lead as the middle of the order does their job. And just like that, it's a 3-2 game as your White Sox take the lead. Middle of the order doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Caminero now steps in, who doesn't have that great of hitting stats against righties, unfortunately, so I don't expect much from him right here. 1-2 count to Caminero. Takes it. There we go. So good eye there. Two guys getting going in the Angels bullpen as they can smell the danger continue to grow here in the top of the 6th inning. And that's a bounce out to the second baseman. And that'll be it for the top of the 6th inning as your White Sox take a 3-2 lead. 2 outs here now on the bottom of the 6th inning. 98 pitches for Max Fried, and Drury rips that one to left field, and that ball is gone. Another home run given up by Max Fried, a 414-foot bomb from Brandon Drury, and just like that, this game is tied. The big bats are out today for the Angels. And the White Sox, all that work that they did to get the lead is erased by Brandon Drury. Unfortunate right there, and this game is tied. 103 pitches now for Fried. White Sox need to look to get him out of this game. 104 pitches is a bit much for opening day, as he will take Rengifo here, or Rengifo, and we'll see who we bring in the 7th inning. Fried walks him. So danger here in the bottom of the 6th inning as O'Hoppe gets in. As you can see here, we're going to get Joe Barlow, I think, here up and warming up for us, because danger is arising here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The pitch from Fried is low for a ball. He can't find the strike zone. Will he be able to get out of this inning? Mound visit from the manager. The pitch from Fried is a strike to a 2-2 count. Can he get out of this inning tie? The pitch to O'Hoppe in the dirt. Nothing doing. Full count now. Fried has to get out of this inning. Can he get O'Hoppe right here with a high fastball? He can! And the White Sox get out of this inning still tied. We move ahead now to the top of the 8th inning. 2 outs, and Juan Soto comes to the plate, the man that we signed and that we need to make a difference for us this year, especially in these situations right here. Man, this is where we need Soto to show off that clutch gene and show him why he's worth that much money that we're giving him. And Soto here in a 1-2 count, just keep staying alive, man. 2 outs, top of the 8th. He's got to be swinging for the fences here, you would think, with 2 outs. Here we go, 2-2 count. Soto continues to battle here in a tie game, and he unleashes to right field. That one will stay fair, and Soto does it. An 8th inning, 2-out home run to give your Chicago White Sox the lead. 109 exit velo, 376 feet to right field, and Soto is making a difference in the very first game he plays with the Chicago White Sox. Absolutely ripped that one on a rope to right field, and the difference has been made. The checkbook had room, and we decided to unload on a star in Juan Soto, and it's paying dividends here at game number 1. Look at that, on a rope to right field, no doubt about it. And you love the guys we got, because Pete Alonso steps in next. Power followed by power. This lineup is deadly. 2-2 count to Alonso. Staying alive here still. That's a theme that you'll see in this lineup. Stay alive and hit for power. 2-2 count, 2 outs, top of the 8th. Ball full count to Alonso now. What can he do? Will he walk for Torres on deck? The pitch is ripped to left field by Alonso. It's deep, it's back there, and it is gone. 402 feet. Back-to-back home runs for the middle of the lineup and the new look White Sox are doing damage here in Los Angeles to open up the year, and the lead extends to 2. Alonso and Soto showing you exactly why we signed them both to pretty good contracts, honestly, as the Angels make a change to their pitching staff. And they bring in Amir Garrett here, who will face against Torres. Man, there's an actual excitement behind this team now. You can just feel it. This is a lot different than year number 1. Big expectations as Torres grounds out, but man, Soto and Alonso give us a 2-run lead as we're 6 outs away from winning opening day of year number 2. So that brings us to the bottom of the 9th, where Tanner Scott, our closer for this year, will take over. He's a lefty here, bottom 9, up 2 runs. Can he secure this victory for the White Sox here on opening day in Anaheim? A great showing from the Stars today. Can Tanner Scott get the job done? A 2-2 count. The pitch way inside there on the slider forces the count to full. The pitch, see you later. Lewis, sit down, a strikeout, 2 more outs. And then we'll have our first victory of the year here with all of this new talent. Ohapi is up. That's a sharp foul ball down the right field line. Tanner Scott, like I said, will be our main closer this year. A pop-up to Fletcher, and he's there. 2 gone. And 83 overall, 83 overall. So a big step in the right direction there for the bullpen. Not where we want to be exactly, but Tanner Scott certainly fills a void there. Ward, there's a strike. A 1-2 count. 1 pitch away, 1 strike away. And that's another pop out of Fletcher, and he is there. And so the White Sox take this one 5-3 here in Los Angeles, starting off the year 1-0. We start Cruz in AAA. Max Fried gets the win. Alonso and Soto go yard. Barlow gets the win, and Tanner Scott gets the save. And that's how year number 2 will get underway for your White Sox. This is sure to be a much more exciting year than last year. So stay tuned for more White Sox franchise.